There is a moment in every life when reality stops moving, not because you are lost, not because you are unworthy, but because you are still holding a frequency that no longer matches the future calling your name. Letting go feels personal, but it is not. It is a law, a universal mechanism woven into the architecture of the field. A law as old as gravity, as exact as mathematics, as inescapable as breath. Nothing new can align with a system that is still vibrating at the resonance of what has already ended, and the universe will not rearrange itself around a frequency you have already outgrown. So it waits, not to punish you, but to protect what is becoming possible. Because the truth you were never taught is this: reality does not respond to desire, it responds to coherence. And coherence cannot form around a past you refuse to release. Every thought you revisit, every emotion you cling to, every identity you defend broadcasts a signal into the field. A signal the universe mirrors with absolute precision. You are not being blocked. You are broadcasting a frequency that keeps recreating the same timeline. Letting go, then, is not an act of surrender. It is an act of alignment. A recalibration of your inner field so reality can finally match the truth living beneath your resistance. Your life cannot change while your energy is arranged around what you no longer are. The quantum field does not organize itself around your hopes. It organizes itself around your state of being. And when your state is still shaped by what you have not released, the universe has no choice but to pause the path ahead. But the moment your grip loosens, even slightly, the signal shifts. Your field becomes spacious. Your coherence returns. Your timeline begins to reassemble itself with a clarity that feels almost supernatural. Not because you forced anything, because you finally stopped generating interference. Letting go is not loss. It is the clearing through which alignment can finally reach you. It is the law that lifts the future into view the instant you stop vibrating like the past. Every shift in your life begins long before anything changes around you. It begins in the unseen, in the field where your thoughts turn into patterns and your patterns turn into the architecture of your reality. At that level, letting go isn't emotional release. It is frequency correction, a refinement of the signal your consciousness broadcasts into existence. Because everything you experience moves through one principle: alignment. Alignment is not preference. Alignment is not mental intention. Alignment is the resonance between your inner field and the possibilities your life is trying to assemble around you. When your energy holds a frequency that matches your past, your reality stabilizes around that frequency with exquisite precision. Not as punishment, but as reflection. The universe is always coherent. It mirrors the vibration you anchor, not the future you fantasize about. This is why letting go is woven into the design of evolution. When your inner world changes, the structures around you must eventually rearrange. But the rearrangement cannot begin while your field is still organized around an expired version of yourself. Every attachment carries a tone. Every memory has a charge. Every unprocessed emotion broadcasts a signal that quietly shapes the geometry of your outer world. And your reality listens. It listens with the accuracy of physics. It listens with the sensitivity of quantum systems that respond instantly to the presence of a new observer state. You are the observer. Your frequency is the observation. Your life is the collapse of that signal into form. Letting go shifts the observer. The shift in the observer changes the field. The field then rearranges what can enter your path. This is the deeper logic behind every transition. The future cannot emerge while your energy is still maintaining patterns that belong to another chapter of your evolution. It is the same principle that governs ecosystems, galaxies, and atomic shells. Systems reorganize when resonance changes. When the frequency shifts, the form must follow. Humans feel this reorganization as endings, but in the field it appears as clearing. Space forms, static dissolves, the signal sharpens. In that moment, your coherence rises. Coherence does not come from forcing yourself to move on. It emerges naturally when the emotional charge tied to the past finally dissolves from your system. You feel it as a lightness in your chest, a thought that no longer pulls, a memory that stops looping, a softening where tension used to live. These sensations are not psychological accidents. They are signs that your field is stabilizing into a new frequency. And when your frequency stabilizes, the path ahead begins to illuminate in ways you could not perceive before. You start noticing synchronicities again. Your intuition becomes louder. Your choices feel cleaner. Your internal compass shifts from confusion to direction. This alignment is not something you create through effort. It emerges when your energy stops leaning backward and becomes available to the trajectory forming in front of you. Letting go is the moment your signal stops echoing the past and begins resonating with what's possible. It is the turning point where the quantum field receives a new instruction from your consciousness, an instruction written in the language of vibration. And the universe always responds to that language. It hears coherence instantly. It reorganizes around it without delay. It begins constructing a path that only the new frequency can walk. Letting go is the law that unlocks that path. Every transition, every breakthrough, every new timeline begins the moment your field becomes clear enough for alignment to move through you again. Every attachment carries a vibration, even the ones you think you've outgrown, even the ones you pretend don't matter anymore, even the ones you justify with logic while your energy still echoes them beneath awareness. The field around you is shaped by what you hold inside. Every unresolved emotion sits in that field like a small gravitational center, quietly pulling your reality toward its frequency. This is why letting go feels so difficult. Your consciousness isn't fighting the thing you're attached to, it's fighting the version of you that formed around it. Identity holds memory, memory holds charge, charge holds frequency, and frequency holds your reality in place. When you cling to an old chapter, you anchor yourself to the vibration that chapter imprinted into your system. Your life keeps looping through familiar patterns because your field is still broadcasting the tone of who you were when that pattern began. Nothing in the universe is static, but holding on creates a temporary simulation of stillness, as if your energy keeps circling the same coordinate long after the map has changed. You may feel the urge to move forward, yet your signal still ripples through a past vibration. That mismatch becomes interference. Interference creates static. Static blurs intuition, dulls clarity, and disrupts coherence. This distortion doesn't show itself as dramatic chaos. It reveals itself quietly, the heaviness you can't explain, the hesitation you can't shake, the sense of waiting for something undefined, the internal pull toward a future you can't quite reach. These sensations are the physics of attachment. Your field is full, your signal is scattered, your energy is carrying more than it was designed to hold. Humans mistake this feeling for stagnation, but stagnation is simply the experience of a field that cannot expand because it is tethered to a frequency that has already completed its chapter. Holding on compresses your energy. A compressed field cannot broadcast clearly, and a signal without clarity cannot establish resonance with the reality you're trying to walk toward. Resonance requires space. Resonance requires coherence. Resonance requires an uncluttered field capable of transmitting a single, unified vibration. Attachment fragments the signal. Part of you moves forward, while another part stays curled around what is familiar. The field enters a state of mixed frequency, a condition where life cannot reorganize because the vibration keeps contradicting itself. This is the real cost of holding on. It isn't emotional pain, although that may surface. It isn't fear, although fear often shadows it. It isn't sorrow, although endings may stir it. The cost is interference. Your intuition becomes faint. Your clarity becomes distant. Your direction becomes harder to sense. Your timeline becomes difficult to access. Because the signal you're sending into the field doesn't match the trajectory you're trying to reach. Letting go removes interference. It allows the field to decompress, to widen, to breathe. The The moment the charge dissolves, the signal becomes clean again. You feel spacious inside. You feel clear. You feel present. You feel aligned with the movement of life rather than resisting it with an outdated vibration. This shift is subtle at first, a soft release in the nervous system, a sudden ease in your thoughts, a moment of quiet recognition, as if something within you finally stopped reaching backward and began responding to the frequency of what lies ahead. That soft recognition is the beginning of coherence. And coherence is what allows the future to finally enter your reality without distortion. When you release something that has been shaping your energy, the field around you does not stay the same. It shifts, immediately, structurally, with the same inevitability that water reshapes itself the moment a stone is lifted from its surface. Most people imagine letting go as an internal phenomenon, a change in emotion, a shift in perspective, a softening of attachment. But release has consequences far beyond the psychological realm. It alters the geometry of your field. It changes the way your energy interacts with the quantum fabric around you. It updates the resonance pattern that life uses to construct your path. Letting go is a recalibration, not symbolic, actual. A measurable shift in the frequency your consciousness broadcasts. Your life is held together by resonance patterns. Thoughts reinforce these patterns. Emotions amplify them. Identity stabilizes them. Attachment anchors them. And the universe uses these patterns to determine the timeline you align with. When you let go, the resonance holding your old timeline together begins to dissolve. A field built around an outdated vibration cannot maintain its structure once the underlying tone disappears. This is why endings often trigger sudden changes, in relationships, in direction, in the opportunities that begin to arise or fall away. It isn't coincidence, it's reorganization. The moment the signal changes, the field begins updating the architecture of your reality to match the new frequency. You can feel this recalibration even before the external world responds. Your mind quiets, your breath deepens, your intuition strengthens. A sense of space opens inside you as the emotional charge that once held your past in place begins to dissolve from your system. These inner sensations are the early signs of alignment. They are the field preparing new pathways that could not exist while you were entangled in the vibration of what you released. Soon after, synchronicities appear, not as isolated occurrences, but as coordinated signals within the field. A message you needed arrives unexpectedly. A conversation shifts your understanding. An opportunity surfaces in perfect timing. Something clicks inside you with the clarity of a key turning in a lock. This orchestration is not random. It is the universe responding to a coherent signal for the first time in a long time. When attachment falls, interference falls with it, and your field becomes clear enough for the future to locate you. The recalibration expands from the inner world into the outer. People who matched your former frequency drift naturally to the edges of your life. Situations that depended on your old identity lose their gravitational pull. Habits that once felt automatic begin to dissolve without effort. The field is removing what no longer fits. It is making room for the configurations that align with your new resonance. You may feel a sense of movement even when your physical world looks unchanged. That sensation is the field reorganizing, timelines shifting, opportunities repositioning, future events beginning their quiet migration toward your awareness. You are feeling the universe prepare your next trajectory. Letting go initiates this preparation by lifting the frequency that holds your life in its current pattern. When the pattern lifts, new geometry begins to form. The recalibration continues until your inner signal stabilizes. Once coherence returns, the path ahead reveals itself with a precision that feels like guidance, even though it is simply resonance finding its reflection. Letting go is the catalyst. Recalibration is the response. Alignment is the result. When something leaves your life, the mind focuses on what is gone, but the field focuses on what has opened. Space is never empty. It is potential, the quiet stage on which your next reality begins assembling itself. Most people rush to fill this space. They fear the silence after an ending. They fear the pause between identities. They fear the stillness where nothing familiar exists. But that stillness is the most intelligent part of the process. It is the interval where your future gathers coherence. It is the environment your next timeline requires in order to take shape. Space is not a void. Space is alignment waiting to land. When you let go, you create a field with fewer distortions, fewer emotional echoes, fewer attachments radiating backward into your signal. That clarity invites new resonance patterns. It invites opportunities carrying the tone of your evolution. It invites relationships that speak to your unfolding self instead of your history. Nothing new can enter a field that is already full. The universe does not layer the future on top of the past. It prepares the ground by clearing it. This is why transitions feel quiet at first, why life goes still after an ending, why your intuition feels suspended between what you've released and what has not yet arrived. That suspension is not stagnation, it is synchronization. Your field is adjusting to a new frequency, and the outer world is catching up. During this space, guidance becomes subtle. Your deeper intelligence communicates in faint impressions, gentle pulls, instinctive leanings toward certain choices. These impulses are not random. They are the early whispers of a reality forming in your direction. The space you feel is the container into which the future can flow. And the more you allow this space to remain undisturbed, the clearer your signal becomes. Clarity is what magnetizes alignment. Clarity is what summons synchronicity. Clarity is what brings the next chapter to the threshold of your awareness. This is why the right opportunities feel effortless. They enter through space, not through force. Force compresses your field. Space expands it. And expansion is what resonance needs in order to crystallize into form. You may notice your desires shifting as the space widens within you. Dreams you once held tightly lose their urgency. New visions emerge with a subtle inevitability, as if they were written into your next frequency long before you could understand them. This shift is guidance. It is your intuition aligning with the new pathways that have become available, pathways that were invisible when your field was crowded. Space makes those pathways visible. Space makes your intuition audible. Space makes the future reachable. There is a moment in this process when you feel something subtle yet unmistakable, a steadying in your chest, a clarity in your mind, a soft recognition that your life is no longer orbiting the past. In that moment, the field becomes coherent enough for manifestation to begin, not through effort, but through resonance, not through striving, but through availability. Your future does not arrive by pushing toward it. It arrives by creating a field spacious enough for its frequency to take shape. Letting go creates that space. Space creates alignment. Alignment creates the reality you step into next. This is the law behind every new beginning. Release opens the field. Space prepares the path. And coherence draws your next timeline into form with the precision of a universe responding to a clear and available signal. There is a moment after the releasing, after the quiet, after the stillness has done its work, when something inside you settles in a way it never has before. A soft alignment forms, not dramatic, not loud, but unmistakably true. You feel present inside your own life again. You feel connected to a deeper intelligence that had been drowned out by the noise of holding on. You feel the future rising through the space you created, with a clarity that meets you from within. This is the threshold where reality begins to move, not as reaction, but as reflection. Your life reorganizes around the frequency you now embody. People appear who match your expansion. Opportunities unfold with a rhythm that feels uncannily precise. Synchronicities arrive like markers on a path that has been forming the entire time just beyond your awareness. Letting go was never the loss, it was the alignment. The moment your field became clear enough for the universe to locate the version of you it had been waiting to respond to. You have stepped out of the old resonance. You have entered the space where the next timeline becomes possible, and the universe is already moving in your direction.